Welcome back to Life, Love, and Liberty with Monica Matthews. As promised, you guys have been blowing me up about convention of states. So I wanted to bring someone on today who's going to tell you all about convention of states because I have never encountered a more serious matter in this country that is misrepresented, disrepresented to the extent that Convention of States is. I first heard about it, to be honest with you, really in proper context about a year ago. And people were kerfluffled because while we have a Republican majority around the country, people really wanted this to happen like now. But when I mentioned it to many of you who follow me, and you can see that by virtue of my Twitter feed just yesterday, it was a complete dis and misinformation campaign. It was actually quite honestly very surprising of just how what a lack of knowledge people have around something that our founding fathers left us, that for whatever reason, over 400 attempts apparently in the past to convene a convention of states, it has in fact never happened. So on with me today, I have Mark Meckler, who is the president of Convention of States. Mark, welcome to my show.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for being willing to wade into the fire here.
Yeah, thank you. Apparently it's an inferno. so people are like, you sure you want to exactly what you said, get into the fire with us. So I need you to do me a favor. I need you to just start bare minimum, like start from the beginning. What is it? And then we'll get to what it isn't.
Sure. So in Article 5 of the United States Constitution, I know your listeners and viewers love the Constitution. You'll find the two ways that we're able to propose amendments to our Constitution. First, the way we've done it 27 times in the past is when two-thirds of both houses of Congress propose an amendment, it goes out to the states for ratification by 3/4 of the states. That's the constitutionally mandated process. The second clause of Article 5 says when two-thirds of the states call for a convention, then the states gather in convention to debate and propose amendments, just like Congress can do. And then again, that goes out to the states for ratification by the same methodology as if Congress had proposed it. So that's the basic process as laid out in Article 5 of the Constitution.
Okay. And why is now a good time to do this?
Well, I think you have to kind of rewind the history and see why the founders put it in. On September 15th, 1787, Colonel George Mason addressed the convention, and he said, "We have a terrible problem with the Constitution." This is, by the way, 2 days before the end of convention. He said, "We've given the power to Congress to propose amendments, but not to the people acting through the states." And he asked a question: are we so naive that we believe that a federal government that becomes a tyranny will ever propose amendments to restrain its own tyranny? Now, of course, we know the answer to that is no. No tyranny in human history has ever restrained itself, said, "I have too much power. We have too much power. We need to give it back." So the founders gave us a way to do this. We also know that there was no disagreement among the founders. Madison's notes reflect just two little Latin words, abbreviations at this moment in convention, nin com, which mean no comment or no debate. Nobody debated this with Mason. And in fact, they then voted unanimously to give us this right. So the history is they knew a time would come when the federal government became unresponsive and became a tyranny. We live in that time. I think all your viewers and listeners would agree. So that's why now is the time.
Sure. Yeah, we would absolutely agree on that. So how many states so far have signed resolutions?
It takes 34 states to call a convention. The constitutionally specified number is 2/3 of states.
Okay.
And so far, as of about a week ago, we have 18 states. Just in the last month or so, we've passed Wisconsin, Nebraska, and then most recently West Virginia. South Carolina passed the Senate last week, and that was the second of the houses, but it's slightly different than what they passed in the House. That has to go back to the House for concurrence. We expect that in another week or so.
It's no longer acceptable for us to just hold our breath from election cycle to election cycle. That seems redundantly stupid to me. That just does not seem like the America I know, right? We're smarter than that, I hope. And we're certainly more desperate than that at this point, right? And so how beautiful is it? Like people keep saying, well, God's going to have to show up. Yes, I've said that too. But you know what? What if he already did? What if he already did through Article 5? What if that's his handwriting? What if that's his solution to people running completely roughshod over this nation? And hopefully you see now that this is not just about this nation. This is about the globe. Because what happens here clearly affects the entire globe.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks are willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.